What is up, YouTube? This is RadiantXela, and I am here with another Star Wars Destiny deck profile. This is a rather awkward one because this is one I made as a solution to only having one dice of Darth Vader, meaning that this is actually sort of a VaderRaider deck, but with an alternative approach to the blue characters included in the deck. So as you can see, I've chosen to include a 10-point Kylo Ren, an 11-point Count Dooku, and a Tusken Raider. This makes up for the deck normally having a lot of low health and having to focus around the aggressiveness of the blue upgrades instead of the control parts. So this deck actually takes the VaderRaider deck and turns it from a sort of mediocre aggro deck that can do a lot of burst if it gets the right lucky pulls, and into a control blue-yellow deck with a lot of potential to be devastating towards the opponent. Now, the first thing here is that Kylo Ren can actually also be switched for a Tusken Raider if you want to focus more on the holocron plays of the deck. I have chosen the Kylo Ren approach, firstly because my girlfriend suggested it, and I was like, meh, Kylo, but yeah, then I realized he also has melee dice, and basically Kylo plus Dooku equals Vader with another 8 health. So that's sort of why I ended up there. Plus his special can potentially, against the right decks, do a lot of burns. In my local meta, Kylo Ren is pretty good because most decks contain a lot of free cost cards, and hitting one of those means doing a lot of damage with a special. So the battlefield is the Starship Graveyard. Choose a support or upgrade from your discard pile placed on top of your deck. This is the double-edged sword of all battlefields. It is the most dangerous one to play against, and also the most dangerous one to play, because almost every deck in the current meta scales heavily on having this. If you manage to disarm a flamethrower against Jango decks, he can get it back. Oh god, that's bad for you. But it can also be the card that reclaims your mind probes and your data crunch with this deck, and that is why I think it is worth the gamble. For this deck in particular. Dooku is an odd choice out because, to me, he is mostly paired with Jabba, and then just manages to go insane and blah, never die, and you know how that goes. In this deck, he is actually the tank. People are not going to focus Dooku, which makes him incredibly hard to deal with, because when he's the last guy seated and he still has 10 health left, he has free shields because you've been playing for enough time to just randomly play shields on Dooku while you have nothing else to do. He'll be sitting there and look at your opponent's almost dead characters and be like, I think I have got this. What a devious strategy. Okay, that was not Dooku, but you get my point, right? He has focus dice and he has discards. So, but your opponent will still want to take care of the Tusken Raider before him, at least. Then maybe most people will then do Dooku and then Kylo. But Kylo is also a beast to deal with in the end because he has 11 health. And at the end, he'll have enough upgrades to finish off most as well. So that is really the strength of this deck. It is that every character is not something you want to focus, aside from the Tusken Raider. So, yeah, it might have a lot of survivability. I think it has during my playtesting, but it's not sure that it'll work during your local game stores. Well, this is the deck, and as always, we start off with the events. I'm running one Deflect. It controls range damage by spotting blue characters, removing range damage die, and then dealing half of that damage rounded up to a character. So what I like about this is, of course, that it removes a die from your opponent if you're smart, and then deal half of that damage rounded up to a character. Basically, you roll a Jango or Han and deal them 1 damage. Remove that damage from Jango or Han. That's sort of what it does. But what I don't like is that it's 1 cost. I would have rather just see this be a 0 cost, remove range damage card, not doing damage. And that is why I'm only running it at 1. Running 1 Force Strike, turn a blue die into a side showing melee damage, and then resolve that die. So yeah, it's good with the Lightsaber upgrade. It is decent with Dooku and really bad with Kylo Ren. So that is why only 1 Force Strike in this version of the Raider aggro Raider damage deck. 2 Isolation, spot a blue character to remove a character die. This is a fantastic removal and totally worth paying 1 for, unlike Isolation in my opinion, because character dice are the ways most people roll. Many people running free character decks will just having characters with incredibly good die, and this card is the one that takes care of that problem. I don't know, like Django has a 2 damage side and then a +3 mod from the blaster rifle, and then you're like, nope, remove that, and then they just lost 5 damage. Rank 2 use the Force for die control against but a blue character, and that's not a problem for this deck because you have 21 health on blue, so it's going to make it and turn a die to any side. This is both used when you don't want to use Tusken Raider's ability to directly trigger. It is also used, the Holocron of course, and it is used with the other characters, Dooku, rKylo, to get the special of the Holocron or the Mind Probe if that's in play. Or, of course, to remove your opponent's dice again. So that was 5 cards in a row, aside from Force Strike, that allows you to take control of your opponent's dice. Really good. 2 Enrage, because you might need resources, and with Dooku, if you have a useless card in your hand, you can just pop that away and not take the damage using his ability from Enrage. So that's great. And it gives extra resources for 0, as with Logistics. I am a total fan of cards that cost 0 and gives you resources to play into the game. So 2 Enrage. Running... I actually thought there were 2 here. Okay, they're not. Okay, so running Intimidate is a focus for me in almost every single deck I can, because it removes all shields, and with decks like Han Rey and Qui-Gon Jinn and Diplomatic Immunity, Intimidate is a god in the current meta. That just like, get off me, and then Mind Probe for 5, maybe 4. That is so good. Removal shields from a character for 0 is perfect. That's optimally 3 damage for 0. Right, a single No Mercy. Again, because this deck has less melee focused damage than the others. I have actually not really used No Mercy that much, aside from the 3 times I've won with it. So, discard any number of blue cards from your hand, resolve any number of your dice showing damage, ranged or melee, increasing its value by 1 for each card you just discarded. I have a feeling that, like, if you build a No Mercy deck, it should be like Elite Kylo Ren with Django at Elite as well. And it's just No Mercy Django's damage all the way out of the hall. But aside from that, or Ren Grievous could also be a possibility, of course. But it just does a lot of damage once, but it costs you your hand. Which means this is a card you play when you're already winning, mostly. Or when you need that last little tick to push over the edge. My girlfriend used this against me to kill off my Grievous that was a 2 health, 1 shield. With Kylo Ren's 1 damage, she played this, discarded 2 cards and won. 1 against Grievous. That is also a pretty good situation for it where you can poke, but that was still 3 cards for 1 character at 3 health. So it actually isn't that good, I think, but it does something. 1 backup muscle. Oh, why not 3? Because it's, yeah, I actually just don't have a second one available for this deck. So yeah, if you can, run 2 backup muscle. Maybe remove No Mercy for the second backup muscle. After you play the support, place 3 damage on it. Action, exhaust the support to move a damage from it to a character, ignoring shields. So yeah, again, with the meta and the shields, you want this. You want this to finish off characters with when Han or Qui-Gon or something builds up 3 shields and we're just about to kill him. This is perfect. Running 1 Emperor's Favor is something that no one understands when I talk to them. And I'm like, why don't you understand this? You mulligan into this, hopefully, playing it during your turn 1, and for the rest of this game you will be drawing the cards you need, because you draw until 6 instead of 5. It has so much potential to change the way the game is played. If Han Rey is good for cheating, this deck card ensures that you're cheating every single turn. And in 2 turns you'll already have drawn 2 more cards than your opponents, being at a better spot, especially with Starship Graveyard, which sort of takes away some of the fun of drawing cards because you'll know what you get, but with Emperor's Favor that sort of negates that and goes up and says, hey, we still get to draw additionally. Running 2 It Binds All Things is a thing for that every blue deck with upgrades should do. Exhaust it to decrease the cost of a blue upgrade you're about to play by 1. So, like this, hey, Lightsaber for 1. And need I say more? It's just a good build-up card. Running 2 Power of the Dark Side, I think is very good in every blue dark side deck, because it gives you the ability to re-roll your die and say, hey, like every side on this die is going to do something. The blanks is going to do 2 unblockable damage and actually mostly be the thing you want. And since this deck runs holocrons, spoiler alert, you want to get this because that means that the holocron only has good sides. There's like nothing you can't get on it that you would like. 2 unblockable damage, great! Against the shield meta, again. So, what's not to like? Right, going into the equipment, as I just mentioned, is the Sith holocron. This thing needs a ban list. This might be the Yu-Gi-Oh player inside me, but this thing needs to get hammered so that you could only play 1 in each deck. It has too much potential during turn 1 to just be a giant. Yeah, essentially it is. So it has a focus side, a +1 resource, 2 specials and 2 blanks. The special reach, switch this upgrade with the blue ability upgrade in your hand, ignoring its play restrictions. Ugh. Then you may spend 1 resource to roll its die into your pool if able. So here's what you do. You place this on Tusken Raider, in case you've never heard of it. Roll the Tusken Raider and use his ability that says, when you activate this character, discard a card from your hand to resolve one of its character upgrade die. So you roll the Tusken Raider, use this ability, discard No Mercy or something. This becomes the special. You instantly resolve the special, putting Mind Probe into play on the Tusken Raider because play restrictions are ignored. Then you get to pay 1 of your resources you just played 0 during your turn 2. During your turn 1 to play it, then during turn 2 you roll this out, get the Mind Probe. If you're lucky, you'll hit special, hit your opponent for 3 to 4 damage during the first freaking play you do. It has unlimited power beyond comparison, and it's too damn good. And if that wasn't enough, it also has focus. Did I mention it has focus? Focus and 2 specials? It's just insane. So we have the 2 lightsabers. This is pretty standard for me. I'm not a fan of the unique lightsabers. I might go into 1 Kylo Rens for this deck, arguably because of the special. Or its potent sides, but I still think this is better because of the redeploy, and redeploy cards in free character decks are amazing because it means you'll get to carry it until the end. Which, of course, yeah, you get it. It's good. It has a 3-for-1 melee, which is meh, but okay. It's 3 damage for 1. I would rather have been a 4-for-1 like the flamethrower, but nope. +2 melee and shield and a resource and a special, and the special says deal 2 unblockable damage to a character. Wow, this actually does a lot of damage. When I first started playing this game, I heard people like, oh, the regular lightsaber, it's just a starter deck card, and by now I've won using this 5 or 6 times, at least, using the unblockable damage, while my opponent was a free shields, and I'm like, I'm gonna use the force and turn this into a special and then win. So yeah, that's good. Another good melee card is the Gaffy Stick, again with the redeploy, fantastic in free character decks. It has a 2-for-1, which is bad, you don't want that, but it has a +2 melee, a disrupt, a resource, and a special. The special reading, remove 1 of your dice showing melee damage to deal 3 damage to a character. So basically this turn Kylo Ren and Dooku into melee hit-ups, because they both have 2 melee dice that normally don't do that much, and actually Kylo's actually cost, as you can see over here on the left, to one to hit with. But with this, you're just like, hey, special, remove that, strike for free. Hey, that's a lot of actual damage you did there. So that's pretty good. Going into the abilities, remember that each of these ability cards that we're going into now can be played for free using Sith Holocron. We're running 2 Force Training. They cost 2, and they read 1 ranged, a +2 melee, a focus, a resource, a special, and a blank. To play, you must put a blue character, but we get around that using the Sith Holocron. And the special reads choose and do 2 of the following, which means you get 2 out of 3 effects every time you special it. Deal 1 damage to a character, or gain a resource, or give your character 1 shield. So basically what this does is, for me, I use it to build shields and resources. I hardly ever use the special to deal damage, because 1 poke on a special isn't good, but a resource and a shield is arguably going to be the thing that changes the game for you, especially the resource in a deck that has so many resource costful cards as this. 2 Immobilize is arguably not the best pick I've ever made. I would like to transform one of these Immobilize into a Force Throw, but since Force Throw is only available through the Rey starter deck or through singles purchasing, hopefully that will get that in Denmark soon so I can do it, Switch one of these with a Force Throw if you can, but right now to immobilize, it has a Disrupt, which I don't like. It has 2 1 armor sides, a 2 armor sides, which I like, a resource and a blank. Why I like this is of course the blue character only text word that Holocron again ignores, and the action part, remove it to turn the die to a side showing a blank. So at my locals, not a lot of people are running things that turn around their own dice. They like to turn away my die instead. So using this to just remove a die that would otherwise maybe do 2 armor shields if you're lucky. I want the shields to be named armor, by the way. And then remove up to 5 damage again against a Han or a Django or a Veers or something else that is pretty meta. I actually think that that ability is what redeems this card, because otherwise this would be totally unplayable in any good deck, any good meta deck. But the action part of it is what makes it something useful. 1 Force Throw, upgrade to 2. This is now a Force Throw. Yeah, okay, so this is a great card. It has 3 cost, it has 1 ranged, 1 disrupt, 2 disrupt, 2 special, 1 blank. And the reason you play it is for the special. Remove a die and deal damage to a character equal to the value showing on that die. Specials and blanks are zeros. So one thing is it removes specials for nothing. That's pretty good. But the fact that it deals damage is so good against Han Solo. I'm just going to bring that up again. Han Solo and Luke Skywalker and Darth Vader are screwed against Force Throw because they're like, hey, we rolled a 3 melee. Yeah, I rolled a special. Get lost and take 3 damage. Punishing people for playing powerful cards forces the meta into a state where many more people are going to be like me and go like, hey, we have these 3 characters that on their own don't do a lot, but they can be buffed up to do a lot with multiple dice, which makes Force Throw not very good against this deck actually, but very good against the meta decks that run few dice with high numbers. That is why I like it, and also again a Holocron target. That could normally only be a blue character only, which actually means that you can use the Tusken Raider ability to instantly gain the Force Throw special. So yeah, what's not to like? Okay, Double Mind Probe. This is where the pain gets real. It has a 3-for-1 ranged, a 2 disrupt, a 2 random discards, 2 specials, and a blank. So it costs 4, which means you're never going to be able to pay for it, unless of course you play 2 It Binds All Things, and then you're lucky if you manage to draw both. That means you can play this in 1 turn, which is great. It is again blue character only, so Holocron is the cheater, and it says deal an opponent's character 1 damage for each card in that opponent's hand. So when you Tusken Raider this during the first turn of a round, you deal 5 damage. If you're playing against a mirror matchup and your opponent has Emperor's Favor, you do 6 damage. It is hilarious, and it is most of the time the reason a deck like this wins. Let's just be honest. We all hate Mind Probe. It needs to go away with Sith Holocron to a deserted island where it will never harm us again. But until then, let's just play it and be part of the herd mentality and hopefully, just get to Tusken Raider Datacron every turn and be a good guy and win this game. Last card is also one of the most dangerous ones, but also a double-sided sword because of its resource code. It is the Crime Lord. Oh my lord, it has such good sides. It has 2 focus, 3-for-1 disrupt, 2 armor, 2 resources, 2 specials. And it costs 4 yellow characters only, which is the bad thing about this. You need to play it on the Tusken Raider. And since most people focus it, I've not really gotten to play the Crime Lord much. Meaning that Ace in the Hole is also compatible with this deck. I just haven't gotten around to testing it because the only upgrades I'm playing currently are of yellow are Crime Lord and the Garfi stick. Its special reads spend 5 resources to choose a character. The character is defeated after this round ends. This card is so dangerous for you to play because it takes 5 resources. That's hard enough to get, but it also said the character is defeated after this round ends, meaning that potentially you could win the game, or potentially your opponent could screw you over and win before you get to do anything else because you just spent 5 resources on a card that might win you the game. I'm not sure how much I like it, but I do see the value of the 2 focus, 2 armor, 2 resource, and that is actually what I like the most about it. I think that winning the game with Ace in the Hole with this could be very, very good. So arguably you could find another card that you don't feel is quite as potent in this deck and put Ace in the Hole in so you can discard this and just roll the special and hopefully just win using that. But it's still 5 resources and meh. So that was my deck profile for my Dooku Kylo Ren Tusken Raider deck. Modifiable, of course, by removing Kylo Ren and going into another Tusken Raider. I prefer Kylo because of the many blue character only upgrades, so when you're out of holocrons, yeah, you can still put them down on Kylo and do a pretty good game. I hope you enjoyed this video. Please follow me at twitter.com/RadiantXela and continue to watch out for more of my deck profiles. Leave a comment below if you have some suggestions for this deck, and I will see you guys next time.